Alrighty, welcome to BAM VFX, and this is Stuff Learning. I'm your host, Stuff Learning, and let's learn some stuff, okay? We'll sit here and learn some stuff today. Today, what we're gonna learn is how to build a business card. You know, either for you or you might know a business owner that wants to have a business card. So I've already kind of made one here. We're gonna try to build it from scratch. I'm going to show you how to make a template in case you got to make business cards again in the future. Then we're going to do, just kind of layout, go over some basic design concepts, and hopefully this will help you out. If some of the stuff you already know, you're looking for something specific through the website or in the description, there's going to be some timestamps for you to make it easy, and you can jump into what it is that you need to know in case I am covering something a little bit redundant for you. So first off, we want to start with making that template as I discussed a moment ago. Now this is print. We're not doing like a video overlay, things like that. You want to make sure that it's in CMYK. It's cyan, magenta, yellow, black, if you were wanting to know what that stood for. And that's the different kind of mixtures of tones. That's how computers recognize that this is going to be printed on paper and not done for the web. So the colors got to be different. And then also too, because it's print, you're going to want a trim and a bleed as well. If you go just to look up dimensions for a business card, it's going to tell you what is it, 3x5x2. I'm going to grab my notes real quick. Even still, to this day, I use notes. But yeah, your size of what the business card is going to be 3x5x2. But you're going to want a little bit of an area, because if you just design something 3x5x2, that means you're going to have white on some of your business cards because it's not going to recognize, and sometimes they don't line up correctly. So you want your important information and your design elements in the safe space. And then finally we'll show how to export that and get it ready for your printer. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So first off, you want to, create the new file, get your dimensions in place. You go to File, and then you go to New, or if it's just beginning, you go to Create. And then you want to come in here. You want to start with your smallest dimension, which is going to be, the safe space where things are, non-offensive and nice and kosher. So your safe space, that's going to be 3.25 by 1.75. See, I already had it set up. Now your resolution, like if you work for web, your resolution is probably going to say around like 60 pixels per inch. We don't want that. We want a good resolution for this card. So go ahead and crank that dial up to 11 by putting in 300 pixels per inch. Now you can also do an orientation. If you want, a vertical business card, you can do the portrait. Or if you want horizontal, you can do the landscape. And I prefer landscape most of the time. And then background, we're not going to have to worry about that too much. Keep it default white, or you can change it, whatever it is that you want to do. Now that you've got everything all set up, we'll just call it, you can even name it here too, which is real nice. We'll call this business design card. Hopefully that's different than what I named. Yeah, it is different than what I named the last one, the prototype one. And go ahead, you press enter, or you can click on the create button, and there you go. There you go. That's bright. That is a bright card there. We're gonna fix that here. It's important to save your retinas. I mean, you can see I'm wearing glasses. If you just work on a white background all the time, it's gonna burn those retinas out, and your vision's gonna get worse and worse. Your health is very important. So what I go ahead and do is I create a new layer, and we're gonna come over, and how I did that is in my layers area. I came down. If you don't see this window, layers, a lot of times you can find it over here, but if you still can't find it, go up to your window. That's where you'll find stuff if you just can't find it. And then, think of what you need. Right there, it's layers. You can press F7 or just click it and the layers will pop up. If I click it, it disappears. To bring it back up, like it said, you saw that hotkey there. It said F7, so we're going to press that. It brings our layers back up. Awesome. Then we want to select a softer color to protect those retinas there. We're going to come over here, and we're just going to pick. We do want it a little bit white, so it's important. And we're going to click OK. All right, and we'll get and we got still white. Then you grab your paint bucket tool and you dump the paint in there, and that's softer in my eyes. Now, something to keep in mind, if your business card is supposed to be white, you might want to keep it white, or just remember to disregard that layer when you're done. You can delete it or just turn off the eyeball, whatever it is that you got to do. I got a dark personality. All my stuff's dark, and I like to, maximize my money, so I use a lot of black. I use a lot of dark colors for print. You don't want to go absolute black, but that's just my preference. Well, not quite there yet. I'm going to use a dark picture to put in here, and we'll go from there. Right now, what we got to focus on is just getting our sizes right and everything. And we want to set a little reminder again if we want to make business cards in the future. We want to know what this layer is. So I selected the type tool, and once you have the type tool selected, it defaults to the color you selected. So you're not going to see your type. You sit there type and be like, I'm pressing on the keyboard. Let's just see. So I'm pressing on the keyboard and I see a line, but I don't see my type. Well, that's because the color's the same as the background. And where you find your type color when you have the type tool selected is right up here at the top. And you want to go ahead and click that, and you grab yourself a color. In this case, we're just going to grab a little bit off black there, and we're going to call this safe space, and we're going to put in the dimensions, and we go 3.25 by 1.75, and we're going to grab our move tool. We're just going to center that up. It's good to keep that practice, get it nice and centered there and everything, because if you're designing stuff, you want to use rule of thirds, all that fun stuff. And we can even combine these two if you don't want it a text layer. Over here, back on your layers, you select the top layer, move your cursor over to the second layer, hold down shift button, left click, that selects both layers, right click, and then you come down to merge layers, and now it's all on one clean layer. Now we've got to apply the trim. So in order to do that, we're going to need our rulers. Now my rulers are already up, but if you don't see them, if your screen looks like this, you're going to want to get those bad boys in there. So you go up to view and you go down to rulers, or right there to the right, there's our hotkey. You can press Control R. Remember that, Control R. But just pull up your rulers. Now you got rulers in place. What are we going to do with these? Who knows? We want to make sure that we hold on to this safe space. So you go up to a ruler, you left click, hold down, drag, and it's going to bring a line. And then the closer you get, once you get close, oh, you see that? It's snapped. It's snapped in place. Very important with print. It's a good idea to use that. That way it makes sure that it's accurate. If it's not snapping in place, go back up to view, and then right there, snap. If it's not checked, click it, and it will check that. If it is checked, click offside, and you're back in business. Now we want to grab another one. We want to put one on all the edges, so another horizontal one, and then we grab our verticals, we move them over, and then we move over one more. So we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Ha 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 ha. So we got 4 lines there. Totally groovy, but how in the world do we expand this out? You know, we want to make the canvas bigger. So you think a big picture you're going to find under your edit tab way up here, all these right there. This is you know, you got your help, view, we've already covered that. You know, filter, select, type, layer, image. Think about what it is that you're gonna want to do. Your file is like all your admin stuff, you know, bringing in files, saving, things like that. But your big picture, if you think of it like canvas, your canvas stuff is all going to be under the image itself. So we come down here, we look for something. What is it that we need? We've got canvas size or image size. We want to use canvas size because we're going to expand the whole thing out. So you go ahead and click on that image size, and you see kind of like how we had set up in the beginning. You know, you got options of you know, the width and the height and everything. Very important here, you want to make sure relative is not checked, because that's gonna, you like, okay, say we type it there and it's gonna put everything, you know, like proportional. It's gonna autofill that in. I guess it doesn't. Anyway, it's important not to have relative checked, so we're gonna go ahead and uncheck that there. And then next up, we want our trim size. Now this is going to be the size of what it shows like online. If you look up dimensions for American Business card, 3x5x2, that's what we want. So you do 3.5 and then you do by 2, and you want to make sure, just click on that dot for posterity, make sure that it's lined up in the middle, and then you hit OK. And yeah, awesome. Now we've got, oh, I don't know if you noticed too, I forgot to mention here. We'll go back to you go image, canvas size, background color. Change that up if you want to. It's up to you. And then we just press OK. Oh, I forgot to put in the dimensions. Hold on, sorry. We go 3.5 by 2 relative off, OK, and there now we've got our trim, and we're gonna want to name this too. You know, that's a smart thing to do. We're gonna put the trim down here, and we got okay, so let's just type it in first. The font's gonna be a little bit big, so we're gonna type in 3.5 by 2, and we're gonna call this trim. Awesome. We're gonna grab our move tool, we're gonna move it over, and we want to center it up, but we also don't want it overhanging there, so we want to Control T. That will allow you to transform it. Now if you just grab the anchor points and move around, it's going to skew your type. You don't want to do that. It's good to get into the habit of holding down the shift button and then grabbing your anchor, and that's going to keep everything in proportion. You grab that, you move it over, and you press enter, and it's in place. Now, good tip here, if you're trying to do something like change your layer or grab a tool and nothing's happening, you're probably in transform mode. Look for that border with those little translucent boxes on there. If you see that, press enter, and that puts it in place. Now we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet setting up our template. So we got to do it again. That's a good thing to remember. Do it again. We got to grab our rulers, bring one down, and then bring another one down. Make sure it's snapping in place, and then bring over your verticals, snap in place. That's good. One more time, snap in place. That's great. And then what did we do again last time? We've done it a couple of times now. We go up to image, we go up to canvas size, and then we go, now this time everything's working in 1/8 of an inch. So from 3.7 or from 3.5, we want 3.75, and then we do by 2.25. Again, make sure your relatives aren't present, and then you click that button in the middle and you go ahead. We're going to change this to a cool blue, a background, so we can differentiate between the two, and then go ahead and press OK. Awesome. Awesome. And the last thing we need to do is just name this here. We're gonna name this what is it called? Oh yeah, the bleed. That's what you call it. The bleed is the area that's going to be disregarded, but you want to make sure that all your effects and all of your color exceed past that, because like we said earlier, strange things happen in print. And one more time, it was 3.75 by 2.25. And then, you grab your move tool. We'll make sure to center that up. We're going to Control T. We're going to shrink that down. And then we're going to put that in place there. We're going to press Enter. And there we go. There we go. You have just created, or you went to my website and just copied this picture, but you have just created your template for business cards. So you definitely want to make sure that you save this file and then make a new file on top of that, in case you got to update your business card, or if you're making business cards for clients as well. Definitely lucrative. A lot of businesses don't have the time to do their print stuff, and they'll outsource that. So I might have just found a way to make it some money. But it's very important that you have a template like this. Don't go out. There's a lot of templates out there that are 3 by 5 by 2, and then sure enough, you get to the printer, and the printer either rejects it, or they print out the cards, and it's got white corners on it. It looks bad. It's a bad time. So what we want to do when we come up, we want to save this here, and we actually want to save this as BC template. And I'm just gonna throw this on the desktop because I already have one on the desktop. But anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and save that. Okay. And then, if you just want to have the picture on hand too, we go File, we go Export, we can save it for web. I like using Save for Web Legacy just because I'm familiar with it. I don't know the new process yet. And then keep it at 100%. In case you lose the Photoshop file, you can always just grab this and it's right there. 100%, I got a PNG, that's fine. You want to go ahead and click Save. You want to find a spot to save it as, and you click Save one more time, and you're good to go. That is saved. Now, what we want to do is we want to save it one more time, because we're going to actually build the business card at this point. So I'm going to go back up to File. Now I'm going to go to Save As, and then we're going to call this DZ Biz Card. Or you could call it whatever, Larry's Pizza Business Card. Whatever you got to call it. Use your discretion. Designing stuff isn't an exact science. I mean, it's very subjective, and it's tailored towards what you need. You don't have to name the file the same as what I named the file. Then you go ahead and click that Save button and click OK. And now we're good to go. Cooking with Crisco now. Now, if you've designed things in the past, if you've already got your logo, things like that, say you made Facebook banners or web banners or whatever, if you have another file that has stuff that you already done, no need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to recreate your logo, things like that. You can just drag and drop things in place from another file, which is what makes a lot of Adobe products awesome, is you can interchange stuff. So I already have one open, but if you have a file on hand, you just go to open, you pull it up, you double click, and it'll open it. but I already have one ready to go. You know, I already made this tutorial, and I got about 3/4 of the way through when I noticed that I wasn't recording, which was fun. That's an outstanding in a day. So you know, do it again. Do it again. Now, what you can do is you come up like right here shows that your files, the files that are open in Photoshop, and they're together. You know, you can look at one or look at the other. Super Secret Ninja, what you can do is if you left click and you pull down, it breaks away. And now you can look at two files at the same time. You can look at multiple till your heart's content. You fill this up, break them apart, have files all over the place, dragging and dropping. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what we want to do, and I'm actually going to replace these, but first I'm going to show you, we're going to grab the logo from this first, and then the background stuff we're just going to rebuild. But so what you want to do is make sure that you're clicked on the right file, which we've clicked on this, and then you see your layers over here. You want to make sure to grab, you know, the appropriate layers. It's always good to name your layers. Like right here, I've got this name. I don't know if you can see it, but it's BAM logo, and we got VFX for the tag there. So we want both of those. So you're going to click the top one, and then you're going to hold Shift, and it will collect the second one. And then you want to come over to your tools, because you want to make sure you're not drawing on it, anything like that, or marquee. You come up to your tools right here, and then you want to select the move tool. And once again, if your tools aren't up, you know, you come down here and make sure that it's checked. It'll bring those up if you don't see this bar right here. So now we can grab and we can pull over, and it's going to drop that logo. It's going to drop that logo in there, and then you notice now we got two logos. So you're not going to lose your logo from the other file. In fact, it's going to stay right where it was. So don't worry about dragging things into this and losing it on the other one. Now, I definitely want to get all these assets in there, the logos of stuff that I do. And this is just how I want to present my business card. I want to show, you know, what programs that I'm proficient in. That way, you know, client has understanding of what it is that, you know, I do. Alrighty, so I got all my logos in a group here from this other file. So I'm just, you know, make sure you're on the right thing. You grab, you drag, you drop, and they come into place. They come into place, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful, wonderful thing. Now, real quick, we're gonna jumble those up. That way, I can show you how I put it all together. And let's see if we can ungroup layers. We're gonna ungroup those layers, and you see all the color came back. I'm gonna show you, you know, your layer opacities. You got different things that you can do, like multiply and linear burn, things like that. But we're just gonna have it normal for now. That way we can see what's going on here. Drag it, bring it over, and now you put your assets in place and make sure that they're in the safe space before you start adding backgrounds and stuff. That's at least the easiest way that I found it. So you want to make sure that you know you got your name, your words, all of that stuff. And then I've created, you know, a little block background here. We're gonna pull that over and bring that in. Oh, something happened. It buried stuff, and we'll show you what's going on with that in just a moment. I just got one more I gotta grab and pull over and drop in there. And we're gonna bring this back up top, get it out of the way, and then bring this in here. And hey, that's kind of cool. That might have been a happy mistake there, because I'm actually kind of digging the way that looks. We might utilize that. I like that. That's got good movement. I think that's probably going to look better than what we have here. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment. And let's so these blue blocks are blocking everything. Like we can't see our logos. What happened? I don't know. So it's the layers. When you look over here at your layers, when you drag those in there, it put everything on top, so you want to move them to the bottom. We got two things we got to move to the bottom. So you want to shift and you want to click and click the top one and then shift, left click. Now you've got them both selected, and you left click, hold, and you drag down, and you see that little line there that's telling you where you're at, and we want to put that at the bottom of everything. And look at that, everything came back. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. This is gorgeous. This is just awesome. It's just awesome. So now I've ungrouped my logos over here for a reason. Now I do want to get this type and stuff out of the way. I've left my guides up so I know where my safe space is at and everything, where I can be comfortable. I want to go down to the bottom here, below that. I'm going to come up here and I got to move this tool section back over there. But I have a new layer. I'm going to call this layer background BG. And then I want to grab the paint tool. And then we still got our old color selected. I'm really digging this weird shadow thing here. So I want to keep that color, and we're just going to fill that up, and that looks good. That looks good. I'm really digging how that's looking there. Does this got an opacity? I don't think that has an opacity, but this one does. Yeah, that one's on vivid light. Okay. And then I do want to add my backgrounds in at this point, because I don't want my business card to be that off gray. So in order to avoid it being dropped on stuff and you have to drag all the way down, just select the bottommost layer. And now I'm going to show you, instead of, grabbing from another file, you might be starting from scratch. So we're actually going to show a couple ways of pasting a file. First off, we'll do old-fashioned way and go up to File. That's your admin stuff. You want to come down and what do you want to do? You want to, man, there's something booming outside. That's crazy. You want to go Place, File, and we got to find something to drop in here. So let's go to Transfer. That's not where it was at. Sorry, I got a lot of files. Bear with me for a moment. Where's this guy at? Where are we at? So yeah, Swirly, come on, go ahead and get placed on in there. And as you can see, it matches your file size as best as possible. The dimensions, which is great. Awesome thing that they do in Photoshop here. And this, I like to, over here, I got multiple business cards for different things that I do. So yeah, in this case, I do want to maintain consistency, so I do have kind of a blocky look on my other stuff. And that's pretty good. Let's see. Kind of like that. Maybe we just go full on this. And play around. Sometimes, you find some wild and crazy things just by experimentation. And we're just going to do that for now. Now, you see this box that's around it. When a file gets placed in like that, it's already automatically in transfer mode because it's assuming that you're going to need to adjust the size. A lot of times you'll forget that you're in transfer mode, and you go to click a layer and nothing will happen. You'll try to paint or try to do, your type, and cool, now it has a prompt. Now it's asking you if you want to place file. You could go ahead and hit enter, or you can go ahead and hit place. I messed up. Can I redo that? No, I can't. So we got to place it one more time. I said don't place, and it thought I just don't want to do anything. So we got to go back and grab it. But you don't have to, play around, with all that up there. Once you're ready, just press enter, and it will place on its own. So no worries there. No worries at all. And next up, another way we can place, this is my favorite way to place an object, because if you look over here under the layers, um, there's a little lock on it. And what does that mean? Well, I'm about to tell you what that means. So say I wanted to take out a portion of that background picture, and I grab my marquee tool and I make a square and I go to delete it. It won't let me delete it. Could not complete your request because object is not directly editable. So click OK. What you want to do to make that editable is you right click on the layer, and then up here it'll say rasterize layer. Rasterize never lies. You kind of click on that rasterize. Now you press delete and it's gone. And if you ever make a mistake like that, because I don't want that to be gone, you press Control Z and it will undo your last. But in Photoshop, you only get one of those. If you gotta go back further, you come up to your history. If you can't find your history, look in the window and make sure that it's checked. If it's not checked, click it and it should come up. If it is checked, that means you've got it buried somewhere in your workspace, and unfortunately you gotta find it. Alright, so next we're going to bring in, the other one. What I want to bring in is I have this picture here. I like some of the elements of that. We're not going to do the drag and drop thing that we did last time. What we are going to do is we're just going to bring it in by opening our file manager. Now, if you got something up like that, if you press Control D, that will deselect if you've got those marching ants. So you come up, you go over to, I keep mine pinned to the taskbar, but you want to find your file manager, and then you come up, you find the file that you need here, and where is it? There it is. And then you grab it, you hold down the left button, you drag, drop, and there it is. It's in there, ready to go. I don't like, where the layer's at, so we're gonna have to drop back on the layer a little bit here. Kind of adjust it where we want it. Yeah, I want to have that gas mask. That's a big branding element of mine, is that gas mask. I want them kind of poking out a little bit, and I know it kind of looks like hot garbage right now, but it's gonna look better. You just kind of think of rules of thirds, think of movement, use your design skills. You want to make it look good. Like we've got that coming down in the middle, and then we've got a linear movement or vertical movement right here. Think of it kind of like a comic book where you want to draw the viewer's eye and get their attention in other ways. Now I want to see it's got a little dog leaf there. I guess I do have to rasterize it. I forgot about that. So we go ahead and rasterize that layer so that we can get some stuff deleted. And I want to bring that below the yeah. We've got the yeah back up. And then I want to select the yeah. Now, your layers are your best friend. Pay attention to where your layers are and everything. Because if you're moving something and it's moving the wrong thing, you're on the wrong layer. 9 times out of 10, if you think Photoshop is broken, you're actually just on the wrong layer. Alright, so real quick, we're going to grab that vertical block, we're going to grab that yeah painting. We're going to bring, or picture, we're going to bring that over probably here, maybe? Or maybe here? We want to bring that over here. Yeah, that's looking pretty okay. And play around with your effects. Now I'm going to show you that here real quick. Have the layer that you want selected, but up here you can change the opacity there, but you could get a lot of cool effects through here. And what I like to do real quick, because you might find a happy mistake, just about all my layers, I'll click up there, click off of it, and I'll use my flywheel to look at the different layer options And sometimes something nifty will happen. I mean, you just never know. You never know what you're gonna find that way. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. We might be going with that, and might not have to adjust. I thought I was gonna have to cut this California one in half, or what I call California roll. This layer. Oh, that's kind of cooler. That's a problem when you find cool things, man. They just keep coming, keep coming. So maybe do like. So what we're gonna do is I don't want to delete that, so I'm just gonna create a new layer, and we're gonna come in here and do the paint bucket tool. We've got the same color added. We're gonna go like that, and then we're gonna Control T and bring this over, line it up to that edge. Yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that so far. It ain't perfect yet. There's still a lot of things we gotta do. But next, this block right here isn't looking too hot, so we want to bring that over, and we're gonna Control T. We're gonna expand that out here. Expand it out good. I think the background layer is a little too loud, so we're gonna Control click on that. We're gonna create a new layer. We're gonna find something dark. We're gonna let the darkness take over here. This is a fun part. This is you know, where you get your color schemes, things like that. Really good time. And yep, it's completely disappeared, but we'll come back up here. We'll play around with the changes of it. We'll try and go for a darker look. I'm going to try to avoid absolute blacks. That's kind of cool there. And then we want this big block. Oh, wait a second. Am I on the right one? Oh, we need to deselect. When you got those marching ants, Control D will deselect. Let's see here. We'll go Enter. And I want it up here. Maybe we go in the middle. Maybe we go on the bottom. I do want an overlap because that's what I'm into. Let me move this up top. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that. We want to make sure that this block, as cool as it looks like that, what winds up happening is a couple cards always get messed up. So I'm just going to stretch that all the way out to the end. That looks good. And now we move our logo around to where we want it there. We want to make sure not to go in this area. That's the forbidden zone. So bring that over there. You notice you get those purple lines and everything. That's great. Those are guides. Make sure that helps you line everything up. It's a beautiful thing. And then now it's time to put in some type here. So what you want to do, you want to come to the type tool and click around somewhere, and you want to put in, things like your name. And what I like to do, and it's personal preference, I like to create a layer for each line of type on business cards. Depends on what you're doing, but I like a layer for each one. But if you don't want to do that, you want to adjust, like your kerning and stuff, you could do like this. And then you come up here and you see it gets complicated. It gets very complicated. That's why I like to just do separate layers for business cards. I want to clarify that if you're doing an article or something like that, you definitely want to keep everything formatted appropriately. So we come up here, grab the text again. Now you're gonna want, a phone number. So you do the brackets. 999. I like to do dots. For me, it just feels more businessy. So, you got your 999, 999. Oh, 999. And yeah, that's cool. And then you grab the move tool. I promise if you call that number, I'll give you a call right back. And then you're going to want, email address. You're gonna need to know how to find you on the web there. So we just go, gobbledygook at .com. And take that, move that over. Okay, that's big. I don't think anybody has an email that big, so we gotta fix that. Make it more appropriate. We'll just your email .com. All right, that's better. That's better. Bring that over, and then you're gonna need whatever you need, address, website, things like that. Again, if you've already created something like we did last time, like if you have a web banner or something like that, real easy. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just grab the file, drag and drop. It brings it right in, and you can put it in there, easy peasy. If you've already made stuff, don't make it again. Don't waste your time. Always know where you have stuff and get her on in there. Now, as promised, we're gonna shuffle these guys up here real quick. And we'll show you how we done that. And then I think we shall be good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Like I said before, so if you want to use, program logos on your business card to let people know where they're at, you find most of them online. Look for like a PG file, something like that, or a PNG file with a checker background. If it's got a white background, you have to crop that out. That gets a little bit complicated. But if you find a good PNG of a logo, copy it, save it to a folder, and then you can use one of the methods that we talked about before, drag or drop, or you can come into place linked, you come up and you go to wherever you decided to put your logos. There's my logos, and you come in here, you select it, we'll do the blender because I had problems with that, and it'll bring that logo in there. So now you've got your logo in there. No need to recreate the logos and stuff. Just grab them off the web. You'll be all right, I promise. Drag and drop, put that in place, and now we're gonna realign these real quick where we want them. I like to try to put things in priority with what I'm most proficient at and everything. So just kind of an indicator. I use probably Photoshop the most. And we want to name the layer after you drag those in there. If you find the right one, you go PS for Photoshop. Then we go to the next one. You grab that in there, After Effects. So that's probably my third most created file. Like I said, you see all that. You see how it's trying to match things up. That's a great thing. You can space things evenly without having to do this crazy align stuff. Now, let me show you something weird. So say you go to move your file and it's grabbing something that you don't want to grab. By default, Photoshop is on auto select, and that's just a pain. That's a real pain, at least for me. So what I do is I turn off the auto select and I go layer by layer, but that's preference. I mean, you might just like auto select. I don't know. I don't know what your deal is. I really don't. I have no idea what your deal is. But you do what's right for you. So we got Photoshop, we got Premiere, we got After Effects. Next up in line, what was this one? This one was After Effects, so we call that AE. And then this one should be Premiere, so we call this the good old PR. And then we've got this one, which we call ID. And then we've got this one, which we call AI. And then we've got this one, which we call Lightroom. I don't really use Lightroom. Yeah, I don't use Lightroom. I know of it. I've used it before, but I find it just about everything can be done in Photoshop. So I really don't bother with it too much. This one, we call this the Blender. And then this one, we call this the UE4. Awesome. Now, I don't want to use, I want to subdue these. You know, I want them all kind of a uniform color. It's loud and kind of gross the way that it's at right now. But instead of going through, you know, like each one and, you know, finding something that works, you know, we can do them all together. Do them all together by grouping them up. So once again, we just organize the rest of these here real quick. And yep, we go ID, and then we go AI, and okay, so I've got these 6 lined up, but they're not lined up with those 2. But these 2 are lined up. Grab multiple. You know, 2 are already lined up. We're going to grab the blender. We're going to hold down the shift button, and we're going to click on the Unreal, and we can bring this in and, you know, have them join their buddies. And if you got to get real technical and everything, you can use your arrows on your keyboard to make real minor adjustments. Alrighty. And now that we've got them all lined up, we want to bring them all together. Now, I did this on purpose, just to show you here. You see, I hug those up right on that line. You don't want to do that. This is one time where you don't want to snap. We're going to bring this down, and we're going to center that up. And all your important information you do not want touching the line. Even though it's in the safe space, weird things happen in print. Just bring it in even a little bit more from the trim area. Okay. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. One thing I want to bring in is, you know, you gotta make people aware that you have a social presence. So I'm going to bring in my social links too, if it doesn't take away from the value of the card. You know, if the card becomes too busy, it might become a problem. So we're going to get that lined up here. And then down here, I think I'm going to put our social logos. But first, as promised, we're going to group these all together, make them look all nice and pretty. You want to grab the top layer and the bottom layer of everything that you have right there. Make sure they're together. If they are spaced apart, another thing you can do, you can select one. They say come down here, you select that, and it'll just grab those 2 things and move those 2. But it's good to stay organized and group where you can. So get them all together on your layers area or in close proximity. Click the top one, hold down the shift button, click the bottom one, right click, come up here, and it will say group from layers. Get them all grouped together, and you call this group PG logos, and click OK. Now, if you ever, like if you need that for your website, things like that, you have it in this file. Like I showed you earlier, you can drag and drop. You can drag and drop now. That's done. You don't have to reinvent it at all. And then now that we have a whole group, instead of going through individually, you just click the drop down, and then you click it again and keep your mouse over that area, and you can scroll through and see what works best for you. And me, I'm not looking for any color. That's too subdued. I don't like that. That's kind of an interesting effect, but takes away from the value of the card. In my opinion, you might like that. You lose the font, and Is anything gonna work on this one? There we go. Luminosity. If you want it the same color as the background, just use luminosity. I use that so much. It's silly. Alright, now let's see if our social logos are gonna work. So we're gonna bring those in. Now, if you go file place, you gotta bring things. Let me show you here. Let's go place linked. We're gonna come up here, and then I think it's under buttons where I got those. Yeah. So I pick, my Facebook logo and say hit shift. When you place it, it makes you do each one individually. So it's like you go place, and then it places it. Then you gotta size it. And it's dumb. It's dumb. I don't know why place is like that. You can't do multiples. This is why I love doing through File Exploder. So, with that in mind, we go to buttons. Now we can select the Discord, select the Insta, select the Facebook, select the Patreon, select the Twitter, select the Twitch, and select the YouTubes. Now, how I did that was, so you just select one of them, and then you press Control, and you can select others without selecting all the stuff. You could cherry pick, select what you want. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And then you just drag, drop, ready to go. Oh, you got to press enter for each one. It stacks on top of each other. I mean, you get it out of transform mode, and they're all there. They're all dog leaf, but now you can do it in a batch and optimize your time. Select the top one, hold down shift, left click, right click, rasterize layers, all done in one shot. Then you can go back in and you can right click and you can do group from layers, and you call this social logos. Okay, and then you click OK, and they're all there, but they're all stacked up accordingly. You want to drop that back down because we'll have to work with each one individually. But before we do that, this is just way too big for this business card. So we want to shrink them down. And since we've got them all grouped together and we'll on the group anyway, just go ahead and press Control T or come up to Edit and go to Free Transform. And then grab one of your anchor points, hold down the Shift button so it stays proportional. And then you left click and drag to the size that you want. You want to kind of have things, have things look the way that they look on that one. I'm going to see if this works, if we can make this work. Who knows? And now we just grab each individual one and we can slide it over. Now you see how this is, you can get this off cue. If you want to keep everything lined up the way that it is now, hold down the shift. That's what shift is for. You hold down the shift, you can't go up and down. It's only going to make you go left and right. Well, it depends on what you start on. Like, say you hold down shift and you go up and down first, it won't let you go left or right. But if you hold shift and you go right or left, it's going to keep it on that line there. I don't know if this is going to look good or not, but we're going to play around and see and find out. We are about to find out. Now I have to get in there and fix that YouTube logo. Actually, rabble. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to shrink those down. Alrighty, yeah, there's some negative space there. I wanted to fill that up. Real quick, I wanted to show you too, to get some drop shadow effects. You go layer style, you can bevel the boss, get it out of the way. You can do different things through this. Create wow effects, things like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool, and that's all the process, the experimentation and everything. And you gotta do what's right for you. I mean, yeah, kind of look at similar for the businesses that you're designing for, and yeah, that gives you an idea what you can do. We had a cool little drop shadow there. That's kind of cool. And yeah, I'm kind of happy with the way this is turning out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with this one or the first one that I made. Um, let's see here. Let's go to view real quick, or we'll go to hourglass, and let's go fit screen. Can we do actual size? Oh, we can't do actual size anymore. Oh yeah, it's at 100%, so that is definitely shrink it down. Make sure it translates. Just go back. And yeah, you can make out the logo from a distance. You make out all the logos from the distance, and that's what makes a good logo. Let's see. Yep, I still make out the Adobe logos in my logo. And about that size, we start losing the social logos. So yeah, this one's a little busy. I'm not sure which direction to go in here, but I think I like this one. I think I like that one. But yeah, keep in mind, right around this area is the area that's going to be seen. And yeah, anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you learned something here. Definitely be sure to check out the website. On the website, it's going to be an article and everything with words that you can follow along, or if you don't want to watch the video, you can read how to build this up on the website, breakingartsandmusic.com. That's where you'll find all these links that we created down here, all the YouTubes, all that stuff is there, Patreons, you could donate if you like, and then also, too, that initial template that we built will be there waiting for you as well. Other than that, thumbs up, thumbs down, give me some feedback, let me know which direction to go in, and you have a great rest of your day. Later.